What's up, y'all? It's Jonathan Rollins here to update you on the latest from this father-son trip across the U.S. with me and my boy Bash. The New Mexico leg. The drive was interesting because now we were on not that long of a drive. New Orleans was 9 hours, Texas was 9 hours, but New Mexico was only gonna be 5 hours, and that feels short compared to those other two. I made it into New Mexico. I saw the Welcome to New Mexico sign, and it's almost immediately upon entering New Mexico that the bugs started flying into the windshield. It's like a bunch of swarms of bugs. You could just hear them too, just hitting the windshield. I even had to turn my wipers on to get some of the bug guts off. I was like, what is it about New Mexico that makes the bugs suicidal? That's too dry. I don't want to live anymore. But when I did see, the views were spectacular. All the way out to the horizons, it was fields and desert, you know. I don't know if I've ever felt more insignificant than I did while driving through New Mexico. Just looking out and just like, man, it's nothing. No houses, no plazas. Every now and then you'll see a sign for some ranch, but it was so far back that you couldn't even see the ranch. It was just, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful and scary. I'll put it like that. It was both. And most of the time, Bash was just chilling in the back, playing with his toys or watching something on his tablet or playing a game on his phone, something like that. He kept himself occupied and always ready to bring me some snacks or come up and chat with me a bit. And he also was taking pictures for his mom. He wanted to send her pictures. I thought that's a little cool thing. He's just like, I would show him something like, oh, check that out, man. Look at that mountain over there. And then he would take a picture and send it to his mom. But our first destination was gonna be the Bottomless Lakes. I found out that they had campsites, so I wasn't gonna need a car dealership. So that was good. Campsites were right by the lake. So that was the plan. Swim, sleep, swim again, get over to the UFO Museum, and then head to the Grand Canyon. That's the plan. So I was thinking about that as I was riding in, and then I realized the gas is getting low. And I started getting scared, man, because that's the last place I want to be and run out of gas is out in the desert of New Mexico, or what felt like the desert of New Mexico. So I started panicking a little bit, and there was no signs. You know how you're on the highway and you see a sign that says gas, food, lodging, stuff like that? No, nothing like that. All you would see is a purple sign with yellow writing with an arrow saying, this is a state road, blah, blah, blah. And then I look down state road, blah, 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 and it's more desert. But I did know my destination was close enough to make it on gas, so I didn't fully go in all-out panic. But as soon as I got there, I talked to some ranger, and he told me that the gas was in the next town over, which was 11 miles away, of course. So before setting up camp, I said, I'm gonna get some gas. And I drove to that town, got some gas, and I felt so much better. And I don't think I'm gonna push it anymore like that. I'm gonna make sure that if I start getting close to low on gas, close to a quarter of a tank, I'm just gonna pull over and fill up. By the way, everybody here is complaining about the gas prices, and it's higher than I've ever seen it, of course, but it's still way lower than Sweden. So I'm not that mad when I'm pumping. I'm like, okay, that's all right. Also, the ranger, he was the nicest dude ever. He wasn't even on duty, and he just was so helpful. So shout out to him. He gave me a map. He let me sign up. He called in to get me a campsite, even though his office was closed. The flies, once I got out and about, I realized the flies were not just aggressive at the Welcome to New Mexico part, but they're just, in general, just relentless. All over, everywhere. When I got gas, they were just everywhere. We're running in and out of the camper to make sure the flies didn't get in, and a few got in anyway. And then we decided to go and eat before we got headed back. And these dinners in the car, in the camper, I really like them. How you feel about them?
It's alright.
It's alright? You ready to go jump in the Bottomless Lakes of New Mexico?
Yeah.
Let's do it. It was unbelievably beautiful. They had this like reddish clay mountain off to the side of the waters that we're gonna swim in the Bottomless Lakes. This was called Lee Lake that we were camping at. And that one had like beach sands and you could just walk in to the lake. The other side had more grass and places to sit, like picnic tables or whatever. It was so nice. Everywhere you looked, it was just beautiful, majestic even. And Bash was loving it. He was ready to get in that water. So we got in, we played for a bit, swam around. So fun. The water was lukewarm, like not hot, but definitely not cold. It just felt so nice. This is the Bottomless Lakes.
Yeah.
In New Mexico. It's fun, man. We're gonna hop back in, but we wanted to check in before we go back in the water.
Oh, my fingers can't even crack too much. They're too wet.
Oh, wow.
It's just a little crack.
Bash has been so inspired by this that he went and took pictures on his own over there by the mountains back there. As you can see, there's mountains up there, and then there's these lakes, and it's like super green water. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This has been so fun.
Yeah.
All right. And tomorrow we do UFOs. We took our showers and set up the tent on top of the camper and slept in the tent. And it actually got pretty cool during the evening. So we had a little blanket on, and Bash was clinging on to me the whole night, and I was welcoming that because it was so cold up there. Not freezing cold, but you know, it was cooler than I had expected. I've never seen the sky with that many stars in it. Wow, I looked up and it was just, I tried to wake Bash up, he wouldn't wake up. But he told me the next morning that he had seen it. But it was just, I felt like I saw all the constellations. I only know the North Star, and I saw the North Star, identified it right away, but so many stars out there. It was like adding to me feeling insignificant. It was the desert plus the stars. The only bad part is I was too tired to go down into the van and get my phone to take pictures of the stars. So it was just one for me. That was just a me moment. I could tell you about it, but it was beautiful. We woke up, had our meal the next morning. Bash wanted to swim some more, so I went out with him to the water while he swam. Then it was time to get cleaned up and head over to the UFO Museum. When we got there, in the parking lot, I was told by my son that he didn't want to go anymore. I was like, you got no options, bro. We got to do this. This is the road trip. And I drove over here to Roswell, and we got to go. And while in Roswell, everything was all about aliens and UFOs and stuff, because they're supposed to be the location where a UFO crashed in, I think, 1947 or something like that. It was cheap to get in. I was really happy to see that it was $5 for adults and $2 for kids or something like that. $2 for adults, 5 kids, I forget. But it was cheap. I welcomed that. I understood once I went through it why it was cheap, because there wasn't that much going on at the UFO Museum, as you would probably suspect, because I mean, how much UFO stuff do we have? A lot of it was like artwork from people who like UFO stuff. But I did read this cool story about this dude named Travis Walton that has this abduction story. And it was a gripping story, and I was pretty much a believer when I left there after reading that. Bass was walking around taking pictures and stuff, and I was just like reading the story of this guy, and I was like, yeah, man, this could have happened. This makes sense. Of course, it probably didn't happen. It's probably a hoax. I looked up more, and most people think it was a hoax. But I guess that's what the place was all about. It's like speculation about the unknown. They even had an interactive map that you can see all the places in the world where UFO sightings have happened. And surprise, surprise, most of them are in the US. And 0 are in Sweden. That's another surprise there. Nobody in Sweden is going to be thinking that they saw a UFO. If they did, they keep it to themselves, because Swedes mind their business. They're over there like, night? But in the end, Bash was glad that he went. We even went into this little, like that Roswell crash reenactment thing they did from the point of view of the alien. So it's like you're in this fake alien aircraft, and then they do like a whole video of it showing what the alien must have seen as it wanted to investigate Earth and then crash landed because of gravity. Would I recommend this place? Not to make it a day, but in conjunction with the lakes, maybe. If you're ever in the southwest of the US and you got a chance, go to the Bottomless Lakes. It's an experience I'll never forget. And now it's on to the Grand Canyon. Let's do it. This was the main thing. This is the one that Bash knew about, and he wants to do push-ups by the Grand Canyon, so We're gonna make our way up there. Looking forward to that. Keep following, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next leg of the trip. Peace.